Hey guys, it's Josiah Perry here, and today I'm releasing the first episode of the BTS series, which I'm going to be taking y'all and explaining all the behind the scenes of what it took to create the music videos and any other projects that I have done and will be doing. So, first off, this music video, BTS, is brought to you by the song Tentacles, which I did for Cedar and the Seekers. It was a phenomenal time. I love the guy that I worked with, the artist. He is awesome, so shout out to him. So firstly, I think what we need to go over is what did I use gear-wise. For the lights, I used two Neewer LED panels and two 5-feet strips of LED lights. For that, easy to carry, easy to travel with. I loved it. Now, for my stabilization, I have an old hand grip for a camera, usually used for photography, but it works great when you're on the go. The second thing I used is the DJI Ronin S. This gimbal is honestly one of my favorites I've used thus far. It's simple to set up, easy to balance, and overall the versatility of it is phenomenal. Using the app really helps me create smooth and easy pans, tilts, and other type of transition shots. Now for the Ronin S, I usually use that if I'm following or if I'm having to walk up a set of stairs or even kind of reaching around to get the subject. So the DJI Ronin S is definitely something I take with me on everything I do, just for the sole purpose of it. Second, I'm going to go over the lenses. Now the lenses I used was the Sigma 18 to 35mm lens. I love it because you can get some close-ups. It goes down to 1.4 on the aperture, so it helps in low light, and you can also get the wide shots. And I personally find it the best lens to use when using the Ronin S if I'm trying to do a follow shot. The second lens I used was a 85mm Rokinon Cine lens. Now this is to get more of the crisper, low light, just kind of B-roll shots. You can really get in there from a distance and get the shots you need. Personally, I love it because it allows me to get enough light in when it's low light, and also it has a crisp and sharp image. Now for the camera that I used, I'm using my personal Sony A6500. This camera is lightweight, it's got everything I need to go out and just run and gun, and it's never let me down thus far. So now let's kind of go into everything that I did to shoot the music video. The first 2 days that we shot inside the residential house and also outside. For this, I mainly stuck with my 18 to 35 on the gimbal, especially outside. On the outside, we see the car coming in and out of the driveway. For that, I just stuck that bad boy on a tripod, hit play, simple shot. Now, for the follow scene, I had my 18 to 35mm on the Sony rigged up to the Ronin S. And from there, I was behind the actor and I followed him, and we went through each it's about 3 different sequences of the same action, and ended up finding one of the best or better ones. And then from there we moved to the chopping of the wood scene. That scene was a little easier. It was just a low shot, stick it on the tripod, and it's done. Now on the inside is where I got to really get creative with the lighting. So when he's asleep in the bed, for that shot, it was on the tripod, my camera was on the tripod, and I used 2 of my LED panels, and I also took a strip of the LED lighting wrapped it up around my C-stand and had it close, so it kind of got that warm shot on the face where it kind of shows like a lamp or something's on, and then with the cool, it symbolizes an early morning, it's cool and that kind of thing. But like I said, the newer lights, easy to move, they're small enough that you can stick them in tight spaces. Let's go on to the third day. The third day we went out and we shot at a riverside. It was in the winter time, so we had to really bundle up for this one, and since the actor was going to be crawling out of the river, well, we had to figure out a way to keep him warm after exiting the river. So we ended up padding his car, keeping the heater on, and we got some comforters and heating pads rigged out on it for his safety. Now, for the next thing that we did after that, after setting up the car and making sure the heater was on, we had to light a fire on a single log. Now, keeping a fire going on a single log in a straight line on top, it gets a little tricky trying to keep it going if you're a one-man crew. But just kind of hold the lighter fluid in one hand, spray it on there. You should be fine if you do it ever so often. So for the river scene, I think the most technical part was when the actor fell into the river and he would crawl out. As he was crawling out, I was having to hold the road flare and keep it just enough distance away from him to where, you know, I got the right lighting, it emitted the glow, but it didn't oversaturate the image. So once he reaches a certain spot that I know he's going to be looking up, I have to toss the flare onto the marker, and then he has to get close enough to where it's still lighting up his face and he can look up. That took about 4 different tries, but honestly it was one of my favorite ones to shoot. I won't say it's my favorite shot, but it was definitely fun kind of playing around with some different ideas and different lighting scenarios. And I also had my 2 LED panels on the right and left side shining on him to kind of help illuminate it and give a little bit more shadow. So on the last 2 days we shot at, I'll call it a ruins, but it's basically just the burnt down remnants of a house. So there is where we did a lot of the extra scenes, the scenes that took up most of the budget. For this, I had to craft a costume for the girl portraying innocence. Now this was a little difficult, but we did some thrift shopping, got the materials, I got everything crafted and made in time. Trying to remember if, yeah, no, it was thrift shopping, and I built the dress, built the headset, the shawl or whatever. I found some rings for her, because I really kind of wanted to give a very artistic look at what she could be. I didn't want to reveal the face. I kind of wanted it to be mysterious. It was definitely a interesting part of the shoot. I didn't expect I'd have to be doing costumes, but hey, the more experience the better. So for the ruins, what we ended up doing was a lot of the shots were kind of artistic. So we did the shadow shots of him with chains, we did a shadow shot of him reaching out to innocence. We ended up using some smoke flares. That was pretty fun. We used one smoke flare while Innocence is dancing. We used a smoke flare when she beckons him in and walks backwards. And then we used a smoke flare in the suitcase, and then we reversed it in post. Those 3 shots were pretty easy, but I think my all-time favorite shot at the ruins was going to be when we brought a chair, put it at the top of this kind of walking stairway. So the stairs came up and then they would split like this. So we had him sitting at the top, and Innocence was behind him. We had a flare at his feet. We kind of had him chained to the chair and blindfolded. And what I did was I walked up the stairs, revealing, kind of dollied in, and then he starts cutting his hair, and I kind of get to add some motion into it. But that shot in its own was excellent. I had one of my LED lights stationed on the left side to illuminate one side while the road flare illuminated another side. And it kind of added more depth and feel into it. And honestly, it was one of my favorite shots. And throughout this entire thing, I have some clips and pictures. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And don't forget to check out the music video. It should be linked below. And if you guys liked it, give me a thumbs up, and I'd love to hear from y'all.